This is the euro yen on the 15-minute time frame. We have an advanced pattern. We have a very deep Gartly pattern that's set up, and if I zoom in, you will be able to see right here we have a double bottom which I've used as entry. So I'm just going to delete everything off and do the high time frame analysis here. This will just be a one in, one out on this particular trade. I had been looking at shorting this market earlier today. That played out nicely without me. Here on the 240 we have this pattern. Let me see if this will, nope, okay, I'm going to draw it out here. So very deep Gartly. Entry would be at the 127, and you can see we've just tapped that fib, that 127 fib, just there. Just let remove these fibs. Now we can see this better actually if we go to the 60. I actually like it here on the 60, and if we look here we can see that we've had a hammer, and I'm just going to zoom in. If you look, you can see that we've actually closed in the top 20% and there's no wick at the top. So lovely, lovely hammer, and then we've got another hammer just to the right of it as well. So clear sign here that there's some rejection, but I am just going to go ahead here and highlight the wicks. For me to enter any of these trades, I must see a double bottom or a head and shoulders within the wicks. So if we drop down to the 15 and we zoom in, then you can see, if I just fatten this up a little, so right here and here we've got a double test, we've got the RSI confirmation, went oversold, and we've got divergence. Let's just zoom out a second. In fact, let's just go to the 5 range and just take a look at this. And there you go, you can actually see that double bottom a lot clearer there on the 5 range. So valid trading opportunity here. It does mean then I am risking, in fact I'll pause the video and work this out. Okay, and you can see now I have a favourable risk to reward. Stop goes below the double bottom, so 21 pips of risk. I have given this extra and 30 pips of reward, so I've got my stop further back than what's really required. Because it is the euro yen and it's been held over the night, I don't want the overnight fees to potentially get me. And then I'm looking at taking this, it should be 3 pips early, not 4. So this will actually be 431 pips, so a nice 1 to 1.5 risk to reward here. And again, I don't trade just these patterns on their own. The patterns themselves, I have around a 50-55% win rate on Gartly's, but if you wait for extra confirmation, head and shoulders or double bottoms which are valid with RSI within the wicks, then that probability goes up quite substantially. And the good thing about it is most of the time I don't need to amend the fibs because we're down at structures, so very likely I won't now have to alter that fib, and the risk to reward will pretty much be the same at a 1 to a 1.5. So I'll set an alert, and it may be a case that if we do hit it, it'll be tomorrow when I'm able to come back to this trade now. We're back on the euro yen, and in the night we did rally up and hit those targets. Now a couple of things here. First of all, I said that this was the double bottom, which it was actually on the 5-minute that, but then what happened is we did actually come down for another double bottom, or a 26.18 double bottom on this time frame, 26.18 on the 5, and from there we just rallied on up. So a very, very nice opportunity. I could have made this better, in all fairness. This was really a 60-minute pattern, and if I dropped to the 15 and saw that we could have had the double bottom here, I could have very, very easily made the risk to reward like this. Not so much an error, but something I could have done a lot better. But nevertheless, there we go, we rallied on up. 31 pips banked on that lovely deep Gartly with a double bottom entry.